Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. We got the game preview episode today. It's always my favorite episode of the week. Jaguars versus Ravens this Sunday night in Jacksonville, prime time. We're also doing another $50 giveaway. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to ask a question somewhere in this video. You just got to watch the video, like the video, please. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and then just drop your comment with the answer. But let's dive into the game. So the Jaguars are coming off 2 straight losses to the Bengals and Browns, who the Ravens know very well. They're obviously in the AFC North. People are saying that this game is the Ravens to lose, and the Ravens might dominate this game, and blah, blah, blah. I've been hearing a lot of that talk, but this game is not going to be easy, in my opinion. The Jaguars are playing for more, in my opinion. They just lost 2 straight games. They're playing at home in prime time. They're trying to correct the ship. You know, obviously the Ravens are playing to maintain control of that number 1 seed. And I think the Ravens are the better team, especially right now. They're more healthy and have a better roster overall. But I think this game means more for Jacksonville. Now, if the Ravens did drop this game, things definitely get interesting at the top. But it's not a must win. You know, the Ravens don't fall really at all if we lose this game. It just makes everything a lot more interesting. It kind of throws the Jags back into contention for that number 1 seed. It throws the Chiefs back into contention. The Dolphins are obviously still there. Ravens still play the Dolphins in 2 weeks. So it just makes everything really tight. If the Ravens take this game, Jacksonville's kind of done with getting the number 1 seed. I'm not saying they're not going to win their division. They will. They're going to make the playoffs. But they're not going to get the number 1 seed if they lose this game to the Ravens, because the Ravens would essentially have a 3-game lead with that tiebreaker. So I think the Ravens do have the edge in this game, but I do not see this being an easy game. I know Trevor Lawrence is banged up. He's been banged up, battling some things all year. He had an MCL injury earlier in the season. He had that high ankle sprain 2 weeks ago. He played through it in the Cleveland game. He definitely didn't look as mobile, but I thought he could still play football at a really high level. You know, he's still their best option. He's still a top quarterback in this league. Trevor Lawrence can sling it, and he's had some success against Baltimore before. I know that's a totally different defense. That was a while ago, but he has beat us before in a game that we were supposed to win. I think the Jaguars a couple years ago had like 3 or 4 wins, and they beat the Ravens in an upset. So he's done it before, and they're playing for a lot. Like I said, there's pressure on the Jaguars to kind of turn this ship around. You lose 3 straight, you know, heading into the end of December, that's not good at all. So I think the Jaguars are going to put up a fight. They do have a lot of injuries. Nobody's ruled out, so I'm not sure who's going to play, but their injury report is a lot more lengthy than Baltimore's is. I think Baltimore's only question mark is going to be Kyle Hamilton, whether he plays or not. He has been practicing, but they might play it safe and sit him. I think he wants to go, but it just really depends if they're going to allow him to go or not. And I think the Jaguars are going to miss Christian Kirk once again. I definitely think that hurts their offense. They do have Calvin Ridley. They have Zay Jones. They have an Evan Ingram who's playing really well, and that's probably one of my biggest fears in this game is their connection, because Evan Ingram can easily create mismatches if linebackers are on him. And the Ravens last week left that middle of the field pretty exposed. You know, Stafford was hitting a lot across the middle, and a lot of underneath stuff to the tight end was wide open. I know we're going to have a little bit more focus just because Evan Ingram is a proven target, but still, I mean, there's some holes in the middle and definitely can create some mismatches, because if a linebacker is matched up on Evan Ingram has that advantage, and he's a good receiver. He's playing really well. He's a big threat for them, and I hear a lot of Ravens fans screaming for us to play it safe with Kyle Hamilton and sit him this week. I agree if his injury is not really healed and there's a high risk of re-injury. I'm not the doctor looking at his knee, but if they say, hey, you can go, might be some pain, but you can fight through it. If you want to play, then let's play him. We do need him in this game. We do need him to cover Evan Ingram, to disguise blitzes. And I mean, Kyle Hamilton's a beast. He's a beast in run defense. He's a beast in coverage. He's a beast blitzing. I mean, this guy is an animal. And if he can go and it's safe for him to go, then play him. But obviously, if there is a high risk of re-injury or, they're kind of uneasy about it, then definitely play it safe and sit him. I do agree with that. But I'd love to see Kyle Hamilton out there. I think he is needed in a game like this where they're going to run the ball. They're going to have a short passing game to Evan Ingram, to ETN, who's a huge threat, running and catching the ball out of the backfield. And our run defense has not been stout lately at all. I think Kyron Williams put up like 115 last week. And all season long, kind of inconsistently, our run defense has not been great. We've gotten gashed quite a bit. So I think that ETN could do that. And you don't want a team to establish a run game because everything else starts to open up. And I really don't want to see another shootout. I hope our defense can step up and do what they're supposed to do. I don't think that the Jaguars have the receiving core right now that the Rams have. So I do think that Stafford to Cooper Kupp and then Nakua, I think that is more of a threat downfield than Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones. But it's not like the Jaguars don't have weapons and Lawrence can't sling it. So our D has to step up. If our D steps up and holds them under 24 points, let's say, I think the Ravens can easily win this game because I think our offense is going to be able to put up some points. The Jaguars' defense the last few weeks has not been great. Jake Browning on the Bengals had a lot of success. Joe Flacco last week had a ton of success. There were a lot of blown coverages. The turnovers, obviously, on the Jaguars' offense didn't help set up their defense for success. I think Lawrence threw 3 picks last week, but still, I think the Jaguars' defense can be exposed. You have Josh Allen, who you have to worry about in the rush, but the Ravens offense matches up really well with their defense, and the Ravens offense is clearly showing the ability to score points in a multitude of ways. I would say what they're struggling with the most is a traditional running game. It's kind of weird. Our defense is struggling stopping the run a little bit. Our offense is struggling to hand it off to Gus Edwards and Keaton Mitchell and have the line open up some holes. I think Keaton Mitchell is definitely our biggest threat right now at running back. Gus Edwards just has not been able to get going at all these past few weeks. Our run game stats look fantastic because Lamar is taking off when the pass isn't there and adding a bunch of rush yards. Lamar's our leading rusher on the team. So if you just look at the stats, it looks like we're able to run the ball well. But if you're watching the game, the Ravens are not able to just hand the ball off and establish a dominant, consistent run game throughout the game. That hasn't happened recently. But the good thing is that the pass game has been working, has been elevating. We're seeing Odell elevate his game and really get involved. His production has been incredible. He's been the playmaker. He's been, the past few weeks, everything that we would want from Odell. Everything you could dream of when the Ravens signed Odell in the offseason has happened these past few weeks. He looks like a top 10 wide receiver in the league. He's making plays. His ball tracking is unreal. He's got surefire hands. He's able to step up in big moments. Lamar and Odell's connection is growing. Zay Flowers is stepping up week after week, making a bunch of plays. He's scoring multiple weeks in a row. Him and Lamar's connection is also growing. Isaiah Likely is starting to get a lot more involved in the offense. We still got Rashad Bateman, who seems like the forgotten guy. He's not as involved, but he's getting open. He's a very talented receiver. And if you start to focus on Zay and Odell a lot more, then I think Bateman's going to have a lot more success. He just needs to work on that connection with Lamar. I think Bateman needs to be a little bit more aggressive in going up and getting the ball too. But his connection with Lamar seems to be a step behind what Odell and Zay's is. But I still have a ton of faith in his ability to step up and make plays. So we got 3 bona fide studs at receiver. Isaiah Likely is no scrub, man. He's not quite Mark Andrews, and they don't have the same connection, but Isaiah is able to step in and make a lot of plays. The line's playing a lot better. We had a rotation with Stanley and Makari, and then on the right side, Moses and Falele, and I think that worked. It helped keep them fresh. Harbaugh said that they were doing that so that Stanley and Moses were fresh in the fourth quarter. And I think as these weeks go, they're just going to get healthier and healthier and get their legs back under them and their conditioning back under them. And our line's starting to play better and better. Hopefully that can lead to success in the run game. I'd love to have a balanced attack and be able to do anything. But I love where our pass game's at right now. And then the guy leading the helm that we haven't even talked about is Lamar Jackson, man. Like, he's playing the best football of his career right now. I know his stats aren't quite 2019 and things like that. That's fine. But like this Lamar Jackson right now, his ability to go through his progressions and deliver the ball with accuracy and also take off when needed. I mean, this Lamar Jackson right now is the best Lamar Jackson we've ever seen. And that leads us to the giveaway question. How many total yards, we haven't done this all season, total yards is Lamar Jackson going to have? That's passing and rushing. Passing yards and rushing yards combined. It's definitely a tough one to call, but I wanted a question that had some range just to create some drama with the guesses and stuff. I'm sure we're going to get some 400 or 500 yard guesses, and then there's going to be some 200 yard guesses, you know? But what kind of game do you think Lamar's going to have? Drop your answer below. Total rushing yards and passing yards combined. Closest answer wins $50 right after the game. Best of luck, guys. So let's get into my score prediction. I got the Ravens winning this one 31-27. I'd love for it to be a blowout. I just can't see it happening. I think the Jags are fighting for way too much, and they're going in the complete wrong direction if Baltimore comes into their house in prime time and blows them out. So I got too much respect for Jacksonville. I think that this is a close game, a little bit more high scoring. I think the over-under is like 42.5 or something, so I definitely think that we go quite a bit over that. Watch it be low-scoring defensive game. I never thought a few weeks ago that the Chargers-Ravens game would kind of stay low-scoring all game, so anything could happen. But I think the Ravens win a close one in Jacksonville and then take full control of that number 1 seed. We'll be sitting really good if we can win this game. I think we will win this game. But let me know your guys' predictions, score predictions, things that you might expect during the game. Hopefully you heard the giveaway question. Drop your answer below in the comments. And as always, guys, I appreciate you tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.